Hello everybody, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. Today we will be going over Legends Limited Fusion Zamasu's abilities. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I know I'm late to this, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. Power up depending on if you're offense or defense. Legends Limited Fusion Zamasu joins the fight. Number 1, unique gauge that changes type. The unique gauge will change to attack type when you use a strike or blast arts, and it will change to sustain damage type when you are hit by an enemy's arts attack. Power up your offense or defense depending on the type. Number 2, powerful recovery. Recover up to 30% of the damage received and draw special arts when the enemy's attack is over. When your unique gauge is sustained damage type, that special arts card you drew can be used to restore an additional 20% health. You'll also recover health when the unique gauge is consumed, so this character can really stay in the fight. Number 3, main ability that inflicts debuffs. Increases the damage taken by all enemies and reduce their health restoration by a whopping 80%. You'll even reduce their draw speed by 2 levels. Number 4, many ways to inflict abnormal conditions. Special move arts have a chance to inflict paralyze. Great. And the ultimate arts inflicts extreme bleed and even damages enemies on standby. If only it would KO on standby. I already know it's not going to. Pass Divine Judgment with Legends Limited Fusion Zamasu. His element is red. His character tags are Future, Regeneration, Patara, Fusion Warrior, God Key, and Powerful Opponent. And his episode is Future Trunks Saga, which makes no sense because unless those two new androids were also Future Trunks Saga, this doesn't make any sense, because this when I see this I think of Future, and when I think of the androids I think of like Z, so it doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, his maxed out thing is 38% to tag Future, Powerful Opponent, or God Key, base strike attack and defense, and 18% to tag Future, base blast defense during battle, so he will give defensive buffs. His strike has blast armor and it does slice damage. His blasts are normal. His blue card has a chance to inflict paralyze on hit, deals massive impact damage, applies the following effects to self upon activation, plus 30% of special move damage inflicted for 3 timer counts, applies attribute upgrade minus 20% of enemy's sustained damage cut effects for 15 timer counts. The following effects occur on hit: shortens ally sub count by 3, 40% chance to inflict paralyze. I don't know why it's not paralysis, but you know, paralyze is cool as well. I'm sorry if I'm coughing too much. Green card. If the unique gauge is attack type, restore the vanishing gauge on activation. If it is sustained damage type, then reduce the enemy's Dragon Balls and seal their special move and special arts. Randomly draws 1 new card. Restores on ki by 10% and restores on health by 10% and ki by 50. 10% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. If unique gauge is sustained damage type, restores on health by 10%, cancels on attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions, reduces enemies Dragon Balls by 1, activates 3 times, seals enemies special move and special arts, blue and green cards, and the sealed arts can't be used for 5 timer counts. If unique gauge is attack type, randomly draws 1 new card when you have 3 or fewer, restores on vanishing gauge by 100, activates 3 times. That's crazy. And 20% of damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. That is pretty crazy. Like, imagine you're just attacking, you randomly draw a green card, and now you just have your freaking vanishing gauge back. Drop combos go crazy. Get a 50% boost to critical rate, then inflict extreme bleed on hit. You'll even deal a portion of the damage to enemy standby members. Deals massive explode damage, applies the following effects to self upon activation, plus 50% to ultimate damage inflicted for 3 timer counts, plus 50% to critical rate for 10 timer counts, cannot be cancelled. Nullifies enemies restore health when it reaches 0 effects when this character attacks for 3 timer counts. The following effects occur on hit. A portion of the damage will be inflicted. A portion of the damage inflicted will also be dealt to enemy members on standby. cannot cause them to be defeated. I already fucking knew it. They really need to just get rid of that clause, because if they were so terrible that they have like one person who can die from like 100,000 damage or whatever the hell this is gonna do, it's not gonna do a whole lot. It's gonna do like 30% of their health. Then yeah, they should die. Destroy all of your enemy's cards, 100% to inflict extreme bleed, and blast armor when charging forward. So it's another damn melee. Cool. Again, I'm sorry. I'm a little under the weather. Main ability. Inflict powerful debuffs with the main ability, including minus 80% to health restoration and minus 2 draw speed levels. I thought that was arts card draw speed. Yeah, it's right there. Draw the ultimate arts card Blades of Judgment next. Restore own health by 30% and ki by 50. Charges on unique gauge by 100%. Cancels on attribute downgrades in abnormal conditions. Inflicts all enemies with the attribute downgrade plus 15% to damage received, minus 2 arts card draw speed levels, and minus 80% to health restoration for 20 timer counts for all of them. And 25 timer counts must elapse. Jesus fucking Christ, okay. Unique ability 1. Has a unique gauge that can switch between sustained damage type and attack type. The unique gauge will switch to attack type when you use a strike, blast, special move, or ultimate arts, and you'll nullify the enemy's special cover changes. It will switch back to sustained damage type when you're hit by an enemy's arts attack, and your unfavorable element factors for damage sustained will be nullified. The following effects activate because he exists. 170% of damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 70%, plus 50% to ki recovery, arts card draw speed by 1 level, and plus 50% to unique gauge charge rate, all of which can't be cancelled. When he enters the battlefield, he gets 30 ki, 60% to damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled, activates once. So yeah, 20% to strike damage inflicted for 15 timer counts, reduces impact, explode, and slice damage received by 15% for 10 timer counts. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade, minus 15% to strike, blast, and special move arts power for 10 timer counts. What the fuck? Okay, that's weird. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Weird. But that means that he's already doing 250% strike damage just from these two alone already, which is pretty crazy. The following effects occur every time this character uses a blast, strike, or a blast arts card. Randomly draws 1 new card when you have 3 or fewer, activates once. Activation count resets after character switch. Restores on ki by 10, plus 15% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. Inflicts enemies with attribute downgrade, plus 50% to damage received, and minus 10% to health restoration for 15 timer counts. Shortens ally sub count by 5 when the enemy activates an ultimate, Awakened, or Rising Rush. Applies the following effects itself if own unique gauge is sustained damage type when this character uses a strike, blast, or special move, or ultimate arts card. Switches unique gauge from sustained damage type to attack type. Applies the buff effect. Nullifies enemy special actions that activate when changing cover for 5 timer counts. Applies the following effects itself if on unique gauge is attack type. When hit by an enemy's arts attack while this character is on the battlefield, switches unique gauge from attack type to sustained damage type. Nullifies unfavorable element factors for damage sustained for 10 timer counts. So far, he doesn't seem to have anything that's like, I can take more damage. I didn't see anything like that. He can do a lot of damage, but he doesn't look like he can take a lot of damage. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot of defense stuff. I'm seeing a lot of more of attack stuff. Maybe the next one has more defense stuff. Has a special cover change against strike arts. Perform a cover change to easily stop an enemy combo by reducing their ki and increasing all enemies' arts cost. You'll recover health after an enemy attack is over, so be proactive about performing cover changes for allies, or just get absolutely fucked because they used a blast when you tried to cover change against those strikes. When it's attack type, the unique gauge will charge when you use arts, and when it's sustained damage type, it will charge when you're hit by arts attacks. After you fully charge the unique gauge, if you're hit by an arts card while it's sustained damage type, then it will be completely consumed to seal the enemy's Rising Rush and all main abilities. If instead it is attack type, and you use an arts, then it will be completely consumed to get a permanent damage buff and nullify an enemy's special actions. No more cover change. They got a strike cover change, comboable only with a special move. Cringe. They should make them more like how they can just be comboable with everything. The following effects occur when changing cover: reduces enemy ki by 20. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade minus 30% to ki recovery and plus 10 to all arts costs for 10 timer counts. Oh, we're at the bottom. Applies the following effect to self after enemy attack is over. Draw a special arts card next, activates twice, so 2 green cards, restores 30% of the damage received, up to 30% of own health. Cringe, that shouldn't have been there. Why? And 20% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. If unique gauge is sustained damage type, unique gauge will be sustained damage type when battle starts. Charges own unique gauge every time when hit with an enemy's arts attack while this character is on the battlefield. Once the unique gauge is full, it resets to 0, and the following effects occur when hit by an enemy's arts attack. Restores own health by 15%, 20% damage. Is 20% to damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled, activates once. Randomly destroys 2 enemy cards, reduces enemy ki by 50, seals enemy's Rising Rush for 5 timer counts, seals all enemy main abilities for 5 timer counts. Okay. And if it is attack type, charges own unique gauge every time this character uses an arts card while they are on the battlefield. Once the unique gauge is full, it resets to 0 and applies the following effects to self when this character uses an arts card. Randomly draws 1 new card, restores health by 10% and ki by 30, plus 20% of damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled, activates once. Increases arts card draw speed by 1 level for 5 timer counts, cannot be cancelled, applies buff effect, cover null for 5 timer counts. Yeah, he doesn't have, I didn't, unless I'm a dumbass, which I probably am, but I'm not seeing anything about defense stuff. The only thing is, like, this healing right here. That's it. I think this is going to be a very squishy boy. You guys can let me know what you think of it. What you think of our Lord and Savior Fusion Zamasu in the comments down below. I'm sorry if my coughing got in the way, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.